Welcome everybody who are joining in. Welcome. Good morning. So we'll just wait a couple minutes before we actually start the conversation with Mr. Samrat here. Yeah.
Correct. No problem. Go ahead.
Good morning, Samrat sir. I'm Nikhil Javeri
Hi,
here.
good morning. Hi,
Sorry,
hi Nikhil, how are you?
I'm fine, sir. I'm sorry, I am stuck somewhere. I had to go to CII meeting
Oh,
in Gujarat. So I was, I wanted to be there throughout, but unfortunately, I won't be able to do because we had some, because this Vibrant Gujarat is coming. No? So
yes.
we are doing some preparation, and I'm also in CII manufacturing MSME panel now. Last year also
great,
I was there.
great.
Yeah. I'm associated with CII, so we have some activities here. So because of that,
Don't worry,
I
sir.
have
This
requested
episode,
Pratyay to.
yeah, this episode will be recorded and uploaded on YouTube, sir. You can watch it.
Yes, but it is
Okay,
always
thank you.
nice speaking to Nikhil, with such a knowledgeable person
Yeah.
around. It
So
makes even more enriching, actually.
yeah, so I became SIRI Assessor in way back in 2023, and I have done many assessments globally in India and abroad for SIRI. But I thought since you are, official, you are also. I saw your profile; it's very good. You are working with the Tata Business Excellence Model, and I am also. I was associated with RBNPA for Ramkrishna Bajaj National Quality Award, which is a replica of Malcolm Baldrige.
Correct.
And so very happy to see that, and very happy to see your industrial connects and your industrial experience. You are really, and also I saw your profile that you are also as a jury in CII Digital Awards or something like that. So very happy to see that.
My pleasure.
And
My
thank you for
pleasure.
accepting. I one
Thank
day I
you for
would like
having
to
me.
maybe have another. We will have another call to have discuss with you more in detail after this how we can collaborate together.
Absolutely.
Sir is
So we
also
have
based out of sir is also based out of Kolkata, so maybe I can give him a visit when I visit home.
that's why
Yeah.
we have many Bengalis in our team. Mr. Debasis Majumdar. We have also Majumdar.
You
One of
told
the
me that.
director is Majumdar.
Yeah, that was his sir.
And Debasis, yeah. My mentor is Mr. NR Sarkar from ISI Indian Statistical Institute, and he's my Guruji. So he's also Bengali. Then Mr. Professor Mandal, Dr. Mandal, he was also my guide for the statistical concepts and all that.
Wow.
ISI, yeah, Indian Statistical Institute. I always say this, it's not that ISI which you think, it's a very popular ISI in India and abroad.
Yes, I
Sometimes
think
you have
it's
to spell out the full name, pronounce the full name.
yes, and it is also nice to see some young people like Pratyay being into this area, which I think is an
Yes, sir.
important step that the customers are looking forward to.
Yeah.
On the,
That's why we have started this small initiative called the GMX. Pratyay is leading that initiative now. Very bright,
appreciate
very energetic, very enthusiastic. And he's also he reads a lot actually, so he always gives us a lot of inputs, fresh inputs on what's happening.
Thank you for the
Because
kind words, sir.
I'm also 54, so sometimes we miss the track of the latest things which is happening, and he keeps us updating, every time.
Correct. I
So that's
understand
very
that.
nice.
In fact, learning is a continuous process, and it never stops, and it never ends. And so, on that loop, we are all in. So, I'm sure Pratyay,
Yeah,
who has started his journey, should be continuing for a long, long time. I think that's something which everybody has to do.
yeah.
Correct.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining in,
Thank
and
you,
thank you
sir.
for
Thank you
having
for
me
your
here.
words.
Yep. Yeah, sure.
So welcome everybody.
Great.
We are really excited to start this session with Mr. Samrat Mazumdar.
Hi.
Please allow me to welcome sir uh, for this episode of Smart Saturday Talk, where we'll be talking about the importance of digital maturity assessments. Comprehensively, what is digital maturity assessment? Why are we even talking about it? Who does it? How does one do it? What are the benefits, etc., etc. We are going to try to get to as many questions as the hour can fit. But of course, first things first, let me start off with introducing Sir once. So of course, Sir is Samrat Mazumdar. He's
Hi.
a certified smart industry readiness index assessor. So we call it SIRI. That's a framework that has been brought forward by INSEAD, the World Economic Forum, and Economic Development Board of Singapore. Uh, his areas of experience includes Industry 4.0 transformation and assessments, business development, sales, marketing, strategy, after sales service, logistics and supply chain, manufacturing of engineering products and services. So Sir has been all around the block, all around the domains, and we are going to get a comprehensive skill set here from Sir itself. Sir is also a TUV certified Industry 4.0 assessor, ex-TBEM assessor. TBEM, of course, stands for Tata Business Excellence Model, which is based on the Malcolm Baldrige model. Sir is, of course, INSEAD certified SIRI assessor. INSEAD is International Center for Industrial Transformation. Apologies. Sir is a CII jury for Digital Transformation and Best Practices Award. Is also a jury member for National AI Awards, which I also recently saw. It was in 2025, and Sir has been at it since 2022. So welcome, sir. Welcome to our podcast. Hopefully, you enjoy it. So, just first
Thank
things
you.
first. I have this burning question, right? So, as sir said, what I'm always reading, and so it's like I read, but I don't have anyone to share. So I just come and share with sir and everyone. So we have been assessment and determining a benchmark before starting any project has not been a new thing in industry. For example, we know about DMAC, we know about Six Sigma, right? The process itself calls for define and measure. You benchmark and define and measure. You assess the benchmark, and your analyze, improve, and control phases. You improve and analyze, control over that benchmark. But when it comes to digital transformation concepts, Industry 4.0, although it has been around for 2013, it has really picked up after or since the COVID era, where we were actually forced into virtual environments and trying to understand what digital technology actually can bring for us. But then when we go for digital technologies in industries, why is an assessment so alien? I mean, or people do not even consider going for it? Is it because in our daily lives, maybe we don't normally deal with Six Sigma, so we don't normally understand the importance of an assessment or a benchmarking. But on our daily life, we daily use phones, smartphones, laptops, this, that. So we know, okay, digital technology is what would an assessment even do? But sir, if you can just lay out the whole picture, what is a digital maturity assessment and what does it entail actually?
Sure. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, yes, probably we need to go a bit backwards when you talk about digital maturity assessments. What has been the scenario so far? If you are talking about India to be specific, the organizations, first of all, we are talking about a manufacturing sector. And this current discussion that we are having is based on the manufacturing sector. And manufacturing sector in India has been driven by a lot of lot of imperatives. For example, in automotive industry, it is mostly related to what the OEMs wanted, and for the
Agree.
other industries, it is mostly related to suppose it's a multinational company and they have factories worldwide. So the digitization, which initiative which took place in Europe, for example, needs to be percolated down here. For example, I was talking to Procter and Gamble. I did an assessment there, and they were trying to do it because their headquarters wanted it, right? At the same time, when Industry 4.0 concept was launched globally, and you had this German gentleman in 2014 who Karl Schwab, who wanted who I mean who coined this word called Industry 4.0. Actually, it's a natural extension of Industry 3.0. And the Industry 3.0 is more about automation and how PLCs and the electronics things of the world had shaped industry. But with the advent of Industry 4.0, you have a lot of elements which are important for improving I mean, that means you are having a lot of access to the data, which you were not able to get. But the problem was that people were still sold, and they still are, on their current practices, which is important for them on a day-to-day basis. If you are
Yes,
talking
sure.
about India in specific, the challenges have been varied. We are dependent on it, the global economy. We are also dependent on lots of I mean, outside world creates our own challenges, and we were more adept in how to tackle that on a daily basis for the automotive sector, for any industry, for the manufacturing sector to be precise. So they were more concentrating on a very a short-term vision, how to make
Hmm.
profits and how to ensure that. So digitization per se was mostly equated with automation. So whenever you go and meet people, they said, "Oh, don't worry, I have." But then when you go inside, you find that the automation and the gradual step towards automation to digitization took time. There are a lot of corporate companies who took the initiative and they moved from the automation to the digitization, but then it took a long time. It took at least 7 to 8 years even for Tata Motors to go for digitization.
Yes, yes. Same for
Yeah, I
CI
mean,
as well. Yeah.
yeah. In fact, since I'm also associated with Insight as their brand ambassador of SIRI in India, so I have seen the global trend as well. If you see Singapore, if you are talking about the global world, Singapore was very, very quick to adopt. But the prime intention and the prime motive and the prime efforts were put by the governments there. Singapore
Exactly,
government
exactly.
said that you need to do that. But similarly, if you go to the Middle East, the GCC countries, they also
Exactly.
thought
Saudi
that. So
Arabia, yes.
exactly. So I have done a lot of assessments in Saudi Arabia, and I've seen that people were mostly focused on what the government wants it. But actually, it's a idea which has been thrust on the people, and they feel that it is important. But most of the digitization exercise that we do in terms of maturity assessments and all, they are not linked with the pain areas of the customer. So that is why if you need to be doing that, you need to understand their problems. So fortunately, Insight, which has got a huge amount of database with them, and their digitization roadmap, which is called SIRI, takes care of
Yes.
all of these, right? So to make it short, India is on the cusp. I am also a part of the CII. I am working with CII as a consultant for their CII for the digitization journey, and
Yes.
we are framing a policy which will help CII to take a lot of initiatives. We are talking to the Planning Commission, and they are trying to move it as a
Oh,
government initiative. But it will take some time. And next week, on 7th of July, there is a meeting with the ministers, and they are trying to make it as a government initiative because nothing moves without the government stick. But
absolutely.
is it really required that why the government should be forcing it on us? But that's not the case. The
Yes.
digitization has its own benefits, and once you realize it, then it becomes self-starting exercise. and all the manufacturers someday will be able to understand. But the approach for all the people like you, me, has been so far has been to be on a, in a mode by which we are a consultant, we are going to
Yeah,
advise you, and the linkages between the customer's pain area and what they really need was always not there. So I
yes,
think that needs to change, and then probably
absolutely.
the adoption will take place.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on the number of countries there where the government actually supports Siri in its form in a in some sort of variants or some policies or frameworks, but it supports Siri indirectly or directly. So there is Ireland, there is Malaysia, Azerbaijan, New Zealand, Turkey, and of course Singapore and Saudi Arabia are the topmost, right? So also that brings to the question is that would be a perfect segue to actually ask you about Siri. But just before that, most of the historically, even if you see, most of the big changes in industries even were not possible if not an intervention of government was there. And ZED is a big example. Making India is a big example. And there are two things that go into that. One is, of course, the financial subsidies that you think that you would receive, or of course you would receive through the policy and the frameworks itself. And the second is the trust builds on something that is government pushed or promoted, because it is the government that is supposed to care for us, and everything like that. So until and unless, so CII is pushing for that in India, and then of course you're going to go with the planning commission, and that is, I think that is the perfect. So a top-down government pushed approach to begin with, I think would be the right method, until and unless clients or manufacturers actually start understanding the value of it. Only then will the push or the pull comes. I mean, right. So if you can just talk about Siri and what it is exactly it is, how it what the framework is, how the assessment is done, maybe.
Yes, sure. In fact, SIRI is the short form of Smart Industry Readiness Index. And if can I share the screen, please? Is
Yes,
it
yes.
okay? Sure. Okay. Thanks a lot. Uh, well, I think this is my name is Samrat. I think you are aware of that. I am associated with Persona Insight and CII. And what is Smart Industry Readiness Index is actually it assesses your current situation in terms of digital maturity, nothing beyond that. And
Yes.
that's what it was designed for, and in the early stages. And right now, some additions have been there, but it's still basically mapping your industry 4.0 readiness, whether you are ready for adopting industry 4.0 for your manufacturing and production and your business processes. And this will help you to understand which are the areas that you need to improve first, right? Actually, I mean, people have been talking about a lot of activities with the organizations do, which is absolutely fine. Few days back, I went to a company in Raipur and they make those railway equipments. And then they actually know what they need. They understand what is their pain area, but they were not able to figure out how to do it. Right now, they have a lot of issues internally. So when digitization and an assessment was made, it gave them a lot of insights. Okay, I really know what I need to do, and this is how it can be made easier, and it can be done quickly, and it can also be addressing your immediate requirement. Plus, you are mostly real time ready. That's what it
Yeah.
does. And some of the people are concerned about ROIs, that why should I invest on digitization, which is a
That
very
is the
normal
big talking
practice.
point of everybody. Yes, ROI. Yeah.
Yes, that's absolutely correct.
And that's natural even. Yeah.
Yeah, because the type of initiative that you take and the ROI that you would like to expect from your business is something which needs to be linked as well. And what is the normal USP of CD, which is Smart Industry Readiness Index, is that it has got a huge amount of database, and that can help
Yes.
the particular organization to benchmark Where are they and what is the best in class and how do they look like in each of the dimensions that we are trying to analyze. So that's something which is across the table, which is normally it can be made available. And when this benchmark data comes in, people think, hey, yeah, absolutely. They need to think. So, in fact, that's is one of the area which have been people have been talking about. And as you know, when we move from industry 2.0 to 3.0, 3.0 to the present scale, but how do you move from 3.0 to industry 4.0 is a very interesting exercise. Normally, people can do it in a normal way. You can drop directly on immediate, some sort of solutions which they have thought about using all the
Yeah.
elements of industry 4.0. That's also great. But actually,
I mean,
probably it may not
I
be
would
helping
guess,
you.
yeah, I would guess that is the natural thought that comes in most manufacturers' mind, where like, okay, we need to
Correct,
invest. Let's just think of the
correct,
technologies that are available and the pain
correct,
areas that we
correct,
have.
correct. So what happens is that the moment you are mature, you need to invest in a very metered manner so that
Yeah.
actually you are slowly moving from industry 3.0 to industry 4.0. Most of the industries, by and large, who are thinking about it, are pretty well aware of their automation and industry 3.0. So for them, industry 4.0 is the next step. So then you improve the connectivity. And once you improve the connectivity within your organization, you have the visibility of the data, right? You are having interoperable
Absolutely.
data flowing in and out, and people are able to understand, see on a real-time manner. And this visibility on a very transparent platform, and that too, you are having a single source of truth is the biggest benefit that you can adopt when you are doing Industry 4.0, and Siri helps you in doing it. And transparency is something which has always been a big problem. Of late, I was having a lot of tough time. I met three, four companies and they wanted to do digitization. The management was very happy about it. They wanted to do it. But there were a lot of resistance coming from the people who are, who were actually supplying the data. I can understand why.
Yes.
But then this resistance is something which is real. And even for multinational companies, the resistance are there, and Indian companies also. But then actually they need to understand the transparency of that data helps you as a person as well. Because the data that you clean, the data you get, and the data you monitor is something which is real, and you can really improve the organization's benefit. So there has been
Yeah,
challenges.
it has,
So
it's a, I mean, it's a really cultural interference because people are so scared to give data because they're afraid the actual truth. So OAE actually it's 60%, but we're showing it somehow manipulating data, showing it 80%, and we're happy.
yeah,
But
that's true.
actually, it's not transferring into or transmitting into anything of value, right? Your production is less anyway. That's the truth.
Correct. Then I don't want to vouch that they have been doing it knowingly, but the way that they calculate
Ah,
and
absolutely.
the
Yes,
and
yes.
the and the and the
Hmm.
inefficiencies that crop it because of these manual interventions shows, right? So naturally you have the data which does not really gel. So once you have the data with you, which is transparent, then you can do then the predictability kicks in, right? So are
Yeah.
you ready? What can happen? Whether you can preempt a problem, whether you can, whether you can the data to analyze your current situation and take advanced action. For example, warehouse stores, the tool life is now nearing, say, a particular limit. So you need to order the new tools and dies. So
Or at
this
least, yeah,
is
you know
something which
that
gives
tool life is really important to measure, and then yeah.
correct. And once you are having this data with you, then you can have an autonomous system, which is the final objective of Industry 4.0. So, which is
Yes.
self-healing, self-correcting, and then you self-adapting. So, this is the cycle that normally people talk about, right? So,
Yes, sir.
I'm sure you will be able to understand Siri is as a tool helps you in, mapping all these steps. So one more interesting thing which I think you can understand, which I wanted to show you, is that how this movement for a particular automotive company went from industry 3.0 to 4.0. They did not use Siri, of course, but they took a long time. They started the journey somewhere in the 60s or 64, 65. And today they have reached a stage where they're thinking about, remote monitoring, AI and machine learning. So the process took a long, long time. Definitely, they had their own way of assessing their organization, and they had their own priorities in terms of investments.
Yeah,
But with Siri, probably this could have been done faster.
absolutely.
So the amount of time the people took was quite high. But you must understand one basic problem. The sensors of the world and the PLCs of the world was good, but sensors which you could transmit data and the IoT data, they were not very good. The quality wise, there are a huge amount of problems. And it right now they are very perfect and people do not have
Yeah,
any issues. So you can also make a legacy machine smarter, so the time and the investment was a decision which people took. So movement from industry 2.0 to 4.0 is a journey. And Siri as an assessment tool helps you to compress these ideas in a way that you actually know where you are and what you need to do. So that is why
absolutely.
so this is something which I wanted to talk about, and
Yeah,
I'm
so
sure you will be able to understand that how the journey took place actually.
yeah, yeah. So off of that, I just wanted to say, so I mean, there has been a Rockwell survey that says 97 percentage of Indian respondents said digital transformation is essential to staying competitive. So they are understanding the value that comes with it, because your competitor is going to do it, and if you don't do it, you're going to miss out on the market, the value, the revenue, etc. Right? But they also say what they most struggle with is budgeting for that. So, it also draws in a really crucial factor, the money involved in, so for example, your expenses and your ROI, right? So you have to have an understanding of the balance of that, the input and the output of that, the inflow outflow of that. CD helps you do that, because I have seen, so there are multiple digital maturity models or assessment models. Also, McKinsey has its own six-step model. There's Akatech one that's really a popular one as well. There is Luxembourg's own. Also, there is VDA given by the VDMA. But I have only seen Siri take into account the financials of the company and their ROI timeline, the strategy timeline, and their KPIs. So
Correct.
your pain areas are getting converted to financial representation factors
Absolutely.
in the
Absolutely.
assessment itself, which the
Absolutely.
model then takes into its account, and then the report that it gives, it prioritizes automatically based on your ROI. So
Correct.
maybe, yeah, so if you can just speak on how the assessment is done, the tier framework, the dimensions, maybe once.
Yeah, actually, if you see, let me just share the screen once again. Yes, you are correct. In fact, these sort of activities are something which definitely are important, and you can see. As you know, we are assessing in 16 dimensions. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and this just a moment. Let me. So we in this 16 dimensions, so it is more of a wholesome exercise, and
Yeah, it's
we
very
are branding it
comprehensive
from
where,
it
yeah.
is a very comprehensive. And for me, I have done I have done a lot of assessments. It's a very taxing thing, trying to figure out
Yes.
and then doing a
We have
research.
also been part of
I'm sure.
multiple. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yes.
But then it's a very rigorous thing. But what is important to understand that do you really need it? Yes, you do. Why? Because you are addressing all the facets of an organization. One of the most important problem which we see is the organization. We people understand that, well, I need it. I know I need to have a vertical integration in place. I need to automate my system. I need to have the connectivity. Otherwise, the data don't flow in. And then I need to build up a model can analyze all the data and give me alerts and can give me an AI built in. But the people, that's one of the crucial thing, are not available, just not available. This workforce learning and development takes a very, very important step because
Because it's
without
a
that, the
cultural
adoption
change.
cannot take place. Yes.
Yeah.
Not only cultural change, the ability to perceive and conceive the benefit that it can go in will
Yes.
require a lot of training and this investments in the people. And mostly people are not having this. So as an organization, which you are part of it, if you can approach that you are really trying to help them out in terms of being their digital partner, I think this is an area which you can really help them to move. And similarly, the leadership. Some
Yes.
of them are quite adapt to this. I have seen people who are experts in much more than what I know, and they have studied quite a lot. And for them, they understand that what they need to do. There, but on the other side, they always think about, well, I need a dark factory. I met a person, the owner of a company. He is having 22 factories in India, and he told me that, Mr. Mazumdar, I हमको dark factory चाहिए.
Wow. Yeah.
Then I was very flustered because his basic level of digitalization in most of the factories are still not ready. Then I had to explain
Yes.
him that why you
But
need to do that. He wanted it. He's the owner, and you
yeah,
can understand having 22 factories is not a matter of joke, correct? So he so
absolutely
but
not.
he but he but he wants it. I've seen it in Chennai. There is a dark factory. मुझे भी चाहिए. So that's how it
So the
works.
vision is there, but the pathway might always not be very clear.
Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the strategy that you built in for this, Siri helps in the building up the strategy as well. You know,
Yes.
so so these are the benefits which I think we'll be able to do. And Siri, as you know, it has a tire framework. Means you assess the current situation. Where are you at the moment, right? And that is the
Yes.
Siri assessment. And then we Siri also takes care of the your bottom line, right? How about what is your current cost structure? What has been your cost base? What has been your pain area in terms of how which are the areas you need to improve or which you think
Yes.
you should be that you are paying more. So it factors that in. And secondly, you also have your own KPIs. The KPIs there are and these KPIs should be also addressed because based on your organization needs, you can decide on which are the KPIs which are important for you, and those needs to be factored because of your type of business. And finally, the references of the broader community, which is nothing but, in a B2B, what is the global scenario, what has been their
Yes.
rating. So that is something is very, very important.
Yeah. So if you
So
want industry best or world best practices, you have to compare
yes,
against them, right?
correct, absolutely. So today's assessment we know, which I think we talked about, and that is what the CD assessment that we are talking about at the moment. And we have in CD, it's good that they have 14 KPIs, which is quite good. And
Yes.
it touches the productivity, it touches the flexibility, it touches the speed and quality. And based on your priority, which you think is important for you, then it factors that in as well. So finally, at the end of the day, you are also comparing with the industry segments. There are 12 broad industry segments, and these are the types of industries that people are. Then further down, it can also further drill down to for the metals and steel. It can go to steel. Then it can go to the rolling mills. So you can really, drill it down to the minute level, and those data which are available, you can benchmark, right? So that's how
Yeah.
gives you the adequacy of the system. Similarly, we have something
Yes.
called so something this. So let me what I normally do is that my approach for the customers are always on their pain areas. I don't talk about
Yes.
Siri at all normally. So and then I
Yes.
try to figure out how these pain areas can be linked with the Siri band
Oh,
impact,
that
and
is,
then
yes, that is the
and
bottom-up approach that the clients really want. Okay, you understand our pain, then you
absolutely.
map your solution to our pain. Yeah.
Absolutely, because otherwise it doesn't help. So,
Yeah.
and if you are putting it in the band and the frequency that it happens, and you can see the bubble size, then you can decide that which are the areas that you should be addressing
But
first.
this is so
And
great.
this
This
is
is so great. Yeah. I'm just looking at this and it's just so great. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is how I approach before I go for an assessment, and then I try to map this, which normally everybody should be doing with the SIRI assessments, right? And that
So
is how
what does
you
the, so in this, if I can just ask in this slide, what is the frequency or pervasiveness? What does that mean? I mean,
means
or what does
means
that represent?
means what is that? How much time it is prevailing on you? For example, unplanned
Okay.
downtime. How many
So
unplanned
it's
downtime?
basically the
The
Pareto of
frequency,
it.
the frequency, the
The,
frequency,
yeah.
the frequency.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
correct. In fact, let me tell you one interesting point. I had gone for a discussion for a company and they wanted to digitize, with which I am talking to them. And all the departments sat together and then they gave me a problem.
Hmm.
And you won't believe there were 1,480 points. I was totally flabbergasted that how do I handle it? So
So
they
those
told
are
me, yeah,
1,480 pain points.
yeah, 10 points.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
so,
That's, I guess,
so,
I
so
mean, what
then,
that is probably really common because big organization have to deal with a lot of problems. So
correct. Absolutely correct. And which is very normal. So then we need to
yes.
segregate it, prioritize it, and then we have to find out which is having the impact on their bottom line. And then accordingly we have to, when we put the SIRI assessment on that top, then the roadmap which is built in now along with the SIRI report comes automatically, right?
Yeah.
So what I've seen is that the maturity curve, the moment it crosses 2.4, and then the value really kicks in actually. So
And
current
Siri actually
organ,
helps you from your
yes,
zeroth level
correct,
across,
correct,
1 to 2
correct,
to 3 to 4, not just
correct,
2
correct,
to 3, but from 0 to
correct,
2, from 0 to 1 to 2.
correct,
So it's actually a very pervasive assessment in itself as well. If you
correct,
want to go from
absolutely,
your zeroth level to your first level of automation digitization, Siri is here to help you. It can make a roadmap for you, can strategize
absolutely.
for you.
You may be somewhere between 1 and 2, and then once you do the SIRI report and once you take some actions, you start moving around, and this is the way you can get the best benefit out of it.
So just one question here. So, I mean, on this point, how,
Yeah,
what would be the optimum frequency of clients, companies, or manufacturers to retake a serious assessment to see how far they have come?
1 year.
1 year.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
because
but is it really feasible for all manufacturers to implement all the interventions that CD had recommended in that 1 year?
no. But then there
Okay.
is a meter, because every company who is investing would like to have a situation that whatever investment I do, I can achieve a certain result before I go to the next step, right?
Yeah,
Because it is money at the end of the day, and money is honey, right?
absolutely. Mm.
So if you are not able to give them that kind of visibility that what you do in next 1 year, and this is the return that you get even for the small step that you do, it is
Yes.
absolutely imperative for the customer to be very unhappy about it. That you are giving him a big story where you need to, do it in 4 to 5 years. And then
Yeah.
finally the customer will like, chalo, thank you very much, sir. Please have a cup of coffee, go back and we'll get back to you, and he never gets back to you, correct? so
Yeah.
so this is the phases you need to decide on the phases that you would like to improve, and then accordingly go. So for example, it may look something like that, these are, you can
Oh,
have
this
it
is
in.
this is perfect. Yeah. So this is a high level roadmap for
Yeah,
two,
I
three
mean, this is for
horizons.
a particular company which I did. So I don't
Okay.
want to name that company, but then
Absolutely, sir. Yes,
we,
yes.
we we made a plan, and believe me, this plan I made for a company who is based out of Switzerland, right?
Okay.
I am also working with the Switzerland companies. So so they are also in a very different state. Well, anyway, this is not the purview of discussion today. So you make a plan, you make a plan. First, you set up the government system, you show them the OE, right? And that's the basic thing that you can do, which the customer will get an immediate benefit. And for that, and then energy, people are talking about how do I save my energy, how can I have my,
Yes.
those are the areas which are really concerning to them. So these are the quick benefits that you can show, and these sort of investments are very less, right? And then people are talking about predictive maintenance, Then finally you go to digital twins, which is of a very high order, but most of the people don't have, they have not even reached that state. So
Yeah.
basically, the idea is that multi-stage implementation is something which you can do, and Siri helps you as a tool to somehow suggest on that. You couple up that with the pain areas that you have normally analyzed, and then the suggestion that you give to your customers, probably it becomes much more acceptable.
Yes, so I would like to know, I mean, off of this
Uh-huh.
point, what has
Yeah.
been, I mean, I of course don't want to interrupt you, but I just had this question. So, what has been the most challenging part or one of the more challenging experiences that you have had while undertaking a serious assessment? For example, I'll just name one
They don't
for
share
as
data. First of all, the most important thing is that
yes.
नहीं मुझे data नहीं देना है.
Whenever there is
Then
someone external walking the shop floor, they know, okay, they are not here
of
for
course,
our good. We're somehow going to get blamed for everything, and I'm not going to be.
correct.
I'm going to be so resistive towards anything that
Yeah,
this guy
that's
has to
correct.
entail. I'm not going
That's
to do
okay.
anything.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay because you don't expect. First of all, let us be very clear about it. Siri is not the tool which can solve all of your problems. It is just it can help you to decide where you are, and it can be one of the tools because ultimately at the end of the day it is my bank, my money. I know how to spend this money, correct?
Yes.
And finally it can add as a sort of third party neutral view as to what can be done, so that you can take my advice. You are fully, you are
Also,
fully
maybe a source of
authorized to do it.
validation as well.
Yes.
Yes.
So data sharing of data is one of the problems, and the resistance from the people is the second problem which I have faced everywhere. I remember I went for a Siri assessment in a company near uh, Dammam, which is in Saudi Arabia. They make those pipes for Aramco. And then I was talking to the owner and the CEO. He was very happy with me. We had got a huge lunch with some camel meat and all, which was exotic.
Mm.
I loved it. That. But then when it came to the ground level, when I went to the site, when we were talking about asking questions, they were so closed. They were not able to share, whatever information that was required. So that made the job very, very difficult because they were scared. So one of the scariest thing that they had was that probably I will lose my job because
Yeah.
that people are so,
Yeah.
but then we need to tell them that what is the purpose and then what can be the areas which you should not be concerned about and how it can happy. So so the resistance from the shop floor is very real, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, that's completely
These are
understandable.
the
And
two areas.
yeah. So also, I mean, just for there could be many people in our audience right now who does not know, okay, what is a SIRI assessment in the sense, okay, do they just come with a pad and then, put check marks on boxes? Do they conduct it virtually? If you can just give a glimpse of on-site for any, for example, if someone here might want to be interested in doing it, what would be in their scope or what would be their experience? What would be the actual ground level activity for SIRI assessment that would include for this maturity assessment?
Yeah, actually, as you know, the maturity assessment is basically how mature you are to adopt Industry 4.0. That's the
Exactly.
basic question. And so, a lot of people don't know about Industry 4.0. What is that?
Yes, actually, so
Whether
before we
it
get
is a
into it,
coffee.
I just, yeah, I just wanted to touch, I just forgot. I just wanted to touch, I had written this down. So I was going through the company website, Persona India Private Limited, and I saw this model which is very similar to what we have. So it's the double A double D model that you have, the acquire,
Uh-huh.
assess, design, and deploy, and we have the same around. We have the quadruple A. So we have awareness, assessment, architect, and accelerate. But
Uh-huh.
the similar thing is we both start with acquire or aware, which is basically acquiring or being aware of Industry 4.0 concepts, what it is, what it actually brings, how it drives value, what you should do, the design principles that should be followed. So things like that. So this awareness part is very, very crucial to begin with, right?
Absolutely. Otherwise, you cannot talk the same language.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, and we are, well, if you are talking about IoT, if you are talking about AR, if you are talking about VR, if you are talking about cloud computing and all, so it is logical. People may not be knowing about it, so that's perfect. But the responsibility as an assessor or the people who are going to be assessed should be that they should be open to understand and learn about
yes.
it, and then give them those kind of inputs before you start the assessment. It is absolutely important. Otherwise, the assessments can go haywire and he might lose interest on what is happening actually.
Yeah.
So that's okay. And in fact, that is the first step. The
Mhm.
second step is that when you go there, you need to make a plan. You need to decide, you need to do a lot of research. And when we go for assessing an organization, we assess we do a research of the company. And if it is a public limited company, we can try and see their balance sheets and see their cost structures. And two informations are collected before that. First of all, we need to understand their KPIs, which are important, and as you know, which is one of the standard practice.
Yes, yes,
And
yeah.
we also and we also try to get their cost structure, which is a
Yes.
percentage which normally people are very scared of sharing.
Very,
And
very. You won't even under believe so. We have been at this client for 2 months and 3 months probably, and they are not ready to give it. They're like, okay, we're going through rounds of approval, rounds of approval. So we face a lot of challenges in our Siri assessments as well, because obviously Intelsa is a Siri assessor. But yeah, please go ahead, sir. Yeah.
yeah, I agree with them, and
Yeah.
I feel that they also, if it is a private limited company, it is even more difficult
Yeah.
because you need to have to one more data, which is basically their turnover, right? So people don't like to share their turnover,
Certainly, yeah.
obviously. So that's okay. But if you do not have this, then it becomes a bit difficult because these are very important for you to address the cost structure. And whenever
Yeah.
you are factoring the cost structure in your assessment process and suggesting an organization, so it can go haywire actually
Yeah.
because it can give a wrong priority, which can be very difficult to manage at the end of the day after the assessment report is ready. So maybe you need to request, otherwise it is very difficult to go. But you can sign NDAs and a lot of people will be happy to give them. But then an approximate figure we task. Next, okay, you don't have to tell me, you give us a range that your support the for example, your raw material cost is say 40%. Okay, you don't have to tell me it is 40%. You can tell that it is between 35 to 41, something like that. It's okay. But that way also it's okay. So after this data is collected, then you go, and then when you go and visit a company, you try to. It is normally completed in 1.5 days, but these days with some quick fix, people are talking about faster. But then I personally do not feel that if you do not have a good, Gemba walk there inside, and then try to see what is happening inside the plant,
Yeah.
you'll be missing out on a lot of opportunities. So 1.5 days of factory visit is something that you should do.
Yeah,
And
for
then
us, I mean,
after,
all of our assessments has been at least 3 days, because I mean, if the facility is really large, then we
oh yeah,
really, yeah, if we would like to really go deep down in the game, but understand the problems as well.
correct,
So
correct,
yeah,
correct. So because if you have to touch all these 16 dimensions, you need to
yes,
have a thorough information. But the idea of this is having a quick review and a quick output. So the next step will probably be, as an organization, if you are there, is to create a roadmap, which is the detailed part of it. But
yes,
here, I think this is good enough because it will give you a snapshot figure, and the investment that the company is doing, that is the output that they should be getting actually. So after this is done, then you go and then you do a lot of research and then organize a report which is basically addressable, and then you need to run through the report for the management so that you can tell them what are your findings and on. The more enriched you are, the more it is important because I'm
yes,
also having an access to a lot of CD reports which has been generated because for the quality purposes, because I am also a CD trainer now. Okay, so I can train
okay,
people
yes,
on
Oh, so you
on
have to
SIRI.
actually maintain the level of quality that the CII
Ah,
report itself gives to the client. Okay, okay, yeah.
yes, because if you are not maintaining the quality, the value doesn't come. I have seen two reports of late which has come to me. I don't want to name those. Those are probably, it will not help the organization the moment the assessment is done to take any action on that.
Yeah.
So the quality of reports are very important. And then that's how it basically complete the whole process.
It's perfect. Okay, so I mean, so just wanted to, I mean, for because you have a such a avid, vast experience from a Siri assessment itself, I'd like to know what has been in your experience so far, statistically even, uh, with maturity assessments versus without maturity assessments, which organizations could develop on their digital transformation journey faster, quicker, or in a more responsive way, or in a more proactive way?
Let me show you a graph,
Yeah.
okay, which can be of some interest to you. You know, are you able to see this
Yes,
graph
perfectly,
actually?
sir. Yes, crisp and
Yeah.
clear. Yeah.
So this is for a transportation industry, automotive sector, and you can see all the 16 dimensions. And some CD, where this CD assessments data are normally available. And you
Mhm.
can see the top one is basically the good companies, tier one companies, right?
The top
And
performers,
you can
yes.
and you can see the assessment data or the banding for each of these
Yeah.
dimensions, right?
Yes.
And if you see the bottom line, which is basically tied to some of the vendors who
Hmm.
probably were doing it in their own way, you can see the difference in the banding, right?
Absolutely. It's yeah. Hmm.
So this gives you a clear picture that if you do not do I mean, if you do not do internal assessment, I would not like to mention only CD, but you can do any assessment. It's perfect,
But
no
Siri
problem.
also turns out to be an internal assessment as well, because when we actually, talk with the stakeholders, the functional heads, and everybody that's involved to the unit level, it
Correct.
actually kind of also becomes internal assessment, because also we conduct a Siri workshop, so understand vertical integration, they understand horizontal integration, they understand what the language of the Siri itself, right? So yeah, yeah,
Yeah, sure, absolutely correct. So you can see the difference. So if you
yeah,
need to achieve that, the people with that on the green line, you need to improve in a lot of areas. And Siri probably will be helping you to understand that. You don't realize that your facility automation is important and you have not done it. For example, your shop floor connectivity is not there. So you cannot transfer the data from one point to another. So these are the insights that comes with the Siri assessment, and then which will help you to decide that which should be your benchmark. So this is one of the examples, and this will give you a clear picture that why assessment is important.
yeah, perfect. So before we just open the floor up to any questions that anybody might have, I just have maybe a couple of questions, if you can just answer it in short. So
Sure.
one thing is, yeah. So just one thing is, like, what has been your best Siri experience? And the last question is, digitalization versus digital transformation. How do you see it? For example, one is, transforming your entire value generating process digitally, and then having just your Excel sheets, I mean your record books, your log books, your papers, have them converted into digital sheets, have automation island. You have your only OE monitoring from one vendor. Quality labs is using one software that's not connected to ERP. There's no connectivity. So that versus having an end-to-end idea of where I want my process to be in like 5 years, and what I'm so that's then a digital transformation journey, right? So maybe, yeah, best city experience and that versus this.
Yeah, actually, my concept of digital transformation and digitalization is similar to what you have told, but a bit different, I guess.
Sure.
Digitization is digitizing an existing machine or existing process. And digitalization is when the total, all the various processes are simultaneously digitized and they are connected, and the whole system that you have a smart factory is something which is basically a digitalization.
Yeah.
And digital transformation is that the moment you have this data with you, you try to figure out what can be your next best thing, whether you can mine the data, or whether you can use this data for, for transforming your business.
Yes.
Starting, suppose you need to take a decision that I am in this business, whether it is helping me, or I can move to a next value chain,
For
which can
example,
be getting your problem.
yeah, for example, a brick and mortar, maybe taxi service company transforming their whole setup into an online cab booking service, right?
Correct. Yeah. It is difficult to perceive in a manufacturing setup, but for other
But
non-manufacturing
is it
area,
because is it
digital
difficult to
transformation
perceive
is.
because there hasn't been a prime example of that yet where companies absolutely industry 4.0 ready, because there are smart factories and dark factories exist. There's Siemens Amber factory, then Fanucs factory. They're all prime examples, but I mean maybe the information that helped them do it is not exposed to the public that often, so maybe that becomes a kind of a information gap, a knowledge barrier.
Yeah, great. But you have to understand the reality. In India, if you go manufacturing sector, the banding is between 1 to 1.5. So,
Yeah.
moment you are in a band of 1.2, 1.5 in a scale of 0 to 5, probably you still are in a very premature stage to think about digital transformation. And
Yes,
in order to
that
move
is a
from
very
that
key
band to
point.
the,
Yes.
if you need to move to the other band, which will take a while, and maybe 3 years, 4 years down the line, you will be able to do that. But who knows? During that period, something extraordinary will happen in the digital
Yeah.
field, where and it is changing every day, and people might not need to do that. A lot of things like agentic AI and other things will do your job, and so I think the basic information, and India is in a cusp. When we talk to the Indian
Yes.
industry, when I have meetings with CII or the other people concerned, I definitely, though I did an assessment of AI in CF through with the CII, but I can tell you for sure that most of the companies are not yet ready, and they will take
Yes.
at least a couple of years to be on that. Otherwise, don't touch AI at the moment, because if you are
Yes.
not digitized, you should not even think about it, because
And
your
the data readiness
infrastructure
matters
is.
as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that with Siri, you can able to understand where you are at the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah. All your gaps are just visible to you in one shot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct, correct. But what is more important is that what you do at the end of the day, and the owner of a company or the CEO of the
Yes.
company is looking forward to. He wants to know one thing, is that whatever investment that I do, whether it pays me back, right?
Yes.
And it is a risk for him. I'm not interested that I get paid back after 5 years. That's not something which
Yes.
they want to do. So that Siri helps him to understand.
Yeah.
Number two is that what he understands, that even if I do my digitization, and in case do I have a reliable technology which can help me to continue with that, and whether my internal team that I have can adopt this technology and help me
Mhm.
building up my own ecosystem. That's the next
Yes.
challenge. So this has been one of the two priorities. And the investment that I do, I have got a system which one of the organization is asking me to pay 1.5 crore. But the same thing, some other company is telling him that I can do it in much lesser price. How do I go?
Yeah.
Because frankly speaking, people think that whatever this investment that they want to do, they would like to understand whether I really need it. And that
Yes.
can only happen once you are doing it in a very stage-wise thing, which I showed you.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
that should be the priority actually.
તો હાલો હું
Perfect.
તમને ડ્રાઈવરની ડિટેલ દઈ દઉં છું બરોબર છે એટલે આવીને પિકઅપ કરી લેશે બરોબર
I think we have
બિલની
someone
હારે જ દઈ
unmute
દેજો
their
તમે
mic.
તારે ઓકે
Aditya, can you mute
ઓકે અને
the mic or?
પેલું પછી આપણે જોઈ લઈએ બરોબર સ્ટેન્ડિંગ માટે ઓકે
Okay,
It appears
I was able to
somebody.
do it for a
Okay.
bit. Okay,
Hi,
sir, just
Pratyay. Hi, Pratyay and Samrat. This is Naresh Gaur.
Hi.
I'm a farmer guy. Sorry, I thought that maybe you guys are going to end. It was a very excellent talk from Samratji. I'm a pharma
Thank you.
veteran. I just recently, I mean, after 42 years with the pharma industry, I
Oh,
just super animated. And I had been with the various top pharma companies in India at Torrent Pharma, Cadila, Sun Pharma, Ranbaxy,
yes.
and recently Amneal, and the last one was with Stallion, a short stint of 1 year. So I'm
Wow.
running in my 66th year right now.
Welcome,
And
sir. Welcome to the
Samratji, I
welcome to the
like,
episode. Hope you liked it. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's a sort of what,
My
I'm very
pleasure.
curious about digitalization and all that. And since last 5 6 years, I had been driving it in my pharma organizations in the
Perfect. Thank you.
ecosystem.
Wow.
I had got my plans assessed for SIRI by Nital Zaveri ji. Okay.
Ah,
And
wow.
okay, great. One thing, Samratji, since I had been at both the ends, like being a site head or say senior vice president manufacturing operations, what you said makes sense that people are very reluctant to share the data. But then there is a resistance that you said. How you had overcome that resistance? Because you have that was been a very predominant aspect of your talk. So how you
I have a
overcame
quick
that
answer,
resistance?
answer
That's
to that, but I'll let Samrat sir speak first.
yeah.
No, actually, what we did normally, I normally when you talk to the customer, and since it's a very this data is between what you and me are getting it, and we have an NDA and Insight platform, and that data is not available anywhere in the outside world. So even if this benchmark data that you are seeing at the moment, people do not talk about company or names, right? So your data is aggregated as a data, and so nobody knows about it. But if it is specific, since we are asking for the specific information about you, each of these information which you share, for example, the cost structure, has a direct impact on your KPIs. And the digitization for this SIRI platform, which calculates these data and throws open your to you, I mean to you, which are the priority dimensions. They take there is a formula, and I will not be able to share the formula right now. But then it is using your data and it is contextualizing your status for the SIRI report, and the same company, similar company in India with different kind of data will have a different priority dimensions. So that is important. So once you can talk to the company and the owners, I think they will realize that it is which they are benefiting it. And most important, we are not talking about exact values at all. We are talking about
Yes,
as a
exactly. That
No,
was
I'm
percentage.
my
not talking
point.
about that, Samratji. I'm not talking about that.
Huh,
See,
huh,
I understood. I
hmm,
was interested. I
hmm,
said to the consultant, okay, please go ahead. But the
hmm,
team below me, the shop
hmm,
floor
Hmm.
guys,
hmm.
as you rightly said, अरे यार मैं अपना डेटा देगा तो पता नहीं what how they will use it against me only,
Yes.
because it throws up your
Yes.
real scenario, the OE.
Yes.
And
Yes.
pharma is by far very laggard as far as if you compare with the automobile sector. The pharma is around 30 35%, and people, as you rightly said, tend to project that we are operating at 70% 80%, and we need one more machine now, whereas the fact is you have a hidden factory sitting there within the facility, and you are not utilizing the machine capabilities
Absolutely,
properly.
absolutely, absolutely. You are absolutely correct. In fact, I will give you two examples. I had been to a company where we wanted to do the SIRI assessment, and there was a huge amount of resistance from the production head, who during the meeting with the MD was very happy about it. So he wanted to do that, but then he realized that whatever data that he's showing for example, the daily reports and all, and the OE calculation which he was doing manually, there has to be some error because you don't calculate the stoppage times, right? So the data that you show for your OE maybe say 85%, but actually when you are having a digital environment, it can calculate actually what has been your productivity, what has been your quality stoppages, what has been your maintenance stoppages. So he is scared that the data that he, but then when you realize, I am talking about some other company where they have implemented it and been working for last 3 years. I went to the shop floor and the person who was operating the machine, he was ecstatic. Believe me, ecstatic is a minor word, but it is a major thing for him. He was empowered. He was seeing what he is doing, and he was running around and showing me, he said, please see what I have done today. I don't have to go to my boss and ask what is the plan. I get it on my screen, and I know what has been my production, how much I have produced, and how I have contributed to the company. And each of the people who were there, they were very happy that it has improved their stature in the organization, and they can go back and say मैं तो computer में काम किया but they were producing actually lot of wire
Their
harnessing, for
pride is
example.
there. Yeah.
Yes, and so that empowered them, that they were contributing to the organization, and all their benefits and also their productivity was really mapped, and they didn't happen, they don't have to wait for something else. So that was very important. The other thing was skill building. Skill was something which was always a big problem,
Yes, yes,
and
true.
they were telling ki boss mera training nahi hua because I have not been trained. Then we realized why. Then he said, look, it was all manual and this someone missed it. So I have not been trained. So now with the digitization, everything is at par. So the empowered people is after the digitization, and of course, before the thing, people are afraid about it, and but then it's a matter of discussion. And finally, at the end of the day, if the boss decides, nobody can stop it.
Thank you. Pratyay, you
So
were
off
also
of that,
saying something.
yes, sir. I was just trying to put my 2 cents in the conversation because obviously Samrat sir is here. So I was saying, okay, normally when we go for it, we say, okay, it's not an audit, it's an assessment, because whenever there's an audit, they say, okay, अभी पूरा logbook निकालना होगा, मुझे पूरा देखना होगा, okay, compliance देखना होगा, ये वो. No, it's not that. It's assessment. And the next thing, sir, we try to do is we try to make them understand how all of this will benefit to them in their day-to-day work. So that kind of frees their mind up a bit. Okay, they're not trying to see our gaps and report our gaps, but they're actually here trying to help us and help our work, the day-to-day work that we do. So we have seen that that kind of frees up the people to share data more readily.
Correct. In fact, there's this planning gentleman. He walks in the office at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and spends at least five hours in doing the planning for the next day, and with the Excel file, putting in data, matching it, talking about it, and then when he realized, when we went to the factory, that after that he is able to do it in within 45 minutes, the amount of hours that is getting unlocked for him is huge.
Yes, huge,
And
huge, yes.
so these are the benefits which are even percolating down at the down level. And if you can talk about it and if you can convince them, I'm sure people will realize that this is going to benefit them at all.
Thank you for your question. So we have already overshot our stipulated time, but
Oh,
we'd like to
really?
take, yeah, we'd like to take maybe one or two more questions. Anybody has some? If nobody has a question, we can end with a quick note. But I'll just wait for a minute to see if anybody has a question, and then maybe we can have the closing words. So if anybody has a question, they can drop in the chat or they can just raise their hands. Uh, yeah. Okay, if nobody has anything, how can we connect post this call? Okay, okay, we'll absolutely yeah, we'd share our your connections. So don't worry. Maybe sir, if you can just put your contact in the chat, that would be
Sure.
perfect.
That's
Yeah,
right.
and I'll also put
I am sharing my mobile number.
yeah. And also, I'll also share Nitul
There
sir's
is,
contact information.
sure.
Yeah.
There is an SIRI assessment. I'm not trying to sell SIRI, of course, but then there is an information. CII is conducting a SIRI assessment training course on 6th of July for 5 days. In case if somebody is interested, maybe you can contact me or Pratyay and we can help
Yeah.
you in understanding that more. And 1st or 2nd of July, there will be a webinar which CII is going to conduct, and I will be talking about in a very specific manner. So, in case someone is interested, they can also join.
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your
Thank you very
time,
much.
for your
Thank you, you
insights, for your all the
and
knowledge,
thank
the
you, Nital
information.
also.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, no, it's okay. But it's a continuous journey. But it's good to see that people are interested because people have to understand that it's not only a fad anymore. And I can see because I've been assessing this CII awards for last 5 years now, and I'm seeing the quality of digitization which was there in the year 2022, for example, and what we saw last year is a huge
Yeah.
change. I mean, people have been
Yes.
adopting digitization and the amount of results that they are getting, the same company, and it was such a basic in the year 5 years, 3 years down the 4 years earlier, and now it is mind-boggling. So I think this change is
So we're
going to
actually
happen.
seeing Moore's law coming into shape, the the area of this transistor really
Yes,
doubles
and
up
people.
the
No,
yeah.
no, people are adopting it and getting benefit. I'm sure Pratyay, you and Nital can take it forward in a very nice way. And of course, in case anyone needs any suggestion, help, please get in touch with me. I'll be very happy. And thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you everybody. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
everybody. Hoping to see you, everybody that's here. Hoping to see you again in the next episode as well. And
Okay,
again,
great,
thank you so
great.
much, Samrat sir.
Thank you very
It
much.
was
Bye
great,
bye.
great.
Take care. Thank you very much. Thank you. I
Yes.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye.